And we have like another minute, I think. Where's it time? Nope, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to say good morning, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful joint session with Casey Borders and myself. And we're going to be sharing some exciting information about the world takeover with neuro-linguistic programming. Yeah, very, very exciting. But first, what we're going to do, and those of you online, you have to imagine yourself sitting in front of a bowl of delicious, although I can't eat them, so I don't know if they really are delicious. No, I'm kidding. I know I never was a big jelly bean person, but picture a big bowl of jelly beans in front of you, and you have one. Everybody here, pick the jelly bean that you like. The jelly bean that not by flavor, but by color. Now I'm going to tell you that I was at Publix. By the way, jelly beans are super expensive. It's a really good thing I can't eat sugar. And as you see the difference between the bowl here and the bowl in front of you, apparently it's maybe a racist thing. Now you can't get white and black. I don't know. Notice there's no white or black in my bowl. Isn't that bizarre, Ksenia? So for some reason, you could not pick the white or the black. But if you wanted to pick the white or the black, mentally pick the white or the black. Isn't that weird? I opened the bag and there's no white or black. I'm like, that is super bizarre. But anyway, did everybody have a chance? Ksenia, pick a jelly bean by color that attracts you. And if it was white or black, then mentally pick that one. But everybody pick your jelly bean. Everybody got one? Okay. So it's interesting. This is an actual jelly bean personality test. You thought I was just feeding you sugar. You can eat the sugar after, Pippa. Where's Pippa? There she go. All right. I would like to know who would pick a white or the black. Do I have any white or blacks in this room? I know if Cindy Pennington was on. Cindy Pennington is a white or black. White or black, this individual, I'm going to read them because you'll be able to know. And those of you who do know Cindy Pennington, you know she would have picked this. They're highly structured and organized. Their surroundings are neat. If given an assignment, they want to know how many pages and the exact requirements. Sound like someone you know? Always wants to know the rules, memorizes things well, can't stand sloppy, unorganized people, and deliberates before making decisions. And I'm going to add one. If in dot loop, will email you 50 times about the same task. And then call. And then if hasn't heard, text you 5 texts. That is your black or white jelly bean. Do I have any black or whites in this room or online? Oh, I have a black or Shandy. Shandy Ortiz is our black or white jelly bean. I'm sorry I could not provide a black or white for you. What does a white jelly bean taste like? I've never had one. I actually hate jelly beans. Okay. Okay, they taste nasty to me too, and I can't eat them anyway. Anybody, what do they taste like? Anybody? Oh, the black is disgusting. No bueno. No. It tastes like aguardiente. I don't know what that is, but that's Colombian liquor. That's disgusting. It's gross. Don't drink it. Don't do it. Save yourself. White is pineapple? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's yellow. Okay. Speaking of yellow, do I have any yellows in the group? No yellows. Oh, well, it's just, these people are not usually outspoken, so this is not surprising in this group. They're always in a state of transition, whether 8 or 80. They're usually smart and innovative, often artistic, sometimes confused in making decisions, unsure where they're supposed to be. They're hard workers, exciting to be with. They'll try anything as long as it's safe. Their spiritual aspects are usually important to them, and they look at things with perspective and respect others' opinions. So we can also call them something in the DISC profile. Anybody know? These are your social workers. These are the save the world people, right? Who? Tina, you are a yellow. Oh, interesting. Tells me a lot about you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, any oranges? Any oranges in the group? No. My God, this group is very, I know what you all are. Any oranges online? Anybody in my chat? No? No. All right. My God, you guys are all the same color. Oranges, too bad, you guys. This is where we need some of these oranges in our life. They're cheerful and good-natured. They have the ability to get along with most anybody. They're friendly and they have a ready smile. They have a quick wit. They're fluent and often eloquent with speech. They do not like to be left alone, and they enjoy life and inspire others to reach their highest potential. Sometimes people think I'm an orange. I am not, because when you hear my color, you will know it's me. Who picked red or pink? Okay, red or pink? I got some red and pinks online. Okay. These are courageous and their energy seems boundless. You kind of know who I am now, don't you? They smile much of the time. If they see someone not smiling, they ask them what the problem is. They generally care about people and become involved in other people's problems. They're highly influenced by others and they share their sadness or grief. They make decisions with feelings and act on impulses of the heart. They spend a great deal of time on the phone and they usually are listening to others. They're sensitive, enthusiastic friends and lovers. Nice to know. Okay. Any violets in the group? Purple. Who's purple? No purples? I have no purples. I thought that Maria was a purple. You're green this time. She was a purple last time. She's feeling green today. Okay. These are flirty. Hey, Claire, what's your color? If you had to pick a jelly bean right now, what color?
A jelly bean right now.
What color? Red. Well, now we know a lot about her, don't we? We do. All right. Yeah, we got a lot of reds, a lot of pinks. Okay, violet are flirty and passionate, highly creative and highly excitable. They have new ideas and are visionary. Short attention spans, can't stay put for long. Disorganized, often choosing to close doors rather than deal with organization. Procrastinators who thrive on chaos, enjoy challenges of different problems, have problems dealing with green and highly structured questioning. Given the assignment, they ask why it has to be done a certain way, and they want to do it differently. They set high standards for themselves and those who work for them and with them. Any violets in the group? Anybody online, Violet? No? All right. Can my greens in the room please stand? If you're online and you're green, you must stand.
I'm interested. Did people pick just based off of color, or did they think about the flavor?
No, color. You can stand, Olga. You must remain standing as I read. You always have to stand because you guys love recognition. These people are seen as leaders, usually in highly visible positions. You're respecters of authority and tradition. You're decisive, directed, and focused, and you love your white and black jelly beans to organize your projects in your life. You may say. Am I correct? Okay, how many of you guys thought that your color actually represented what we thought? Anybody? Anybody felt like the color that you picked kind of represented some of the things about you?
Borderline red, white.
Now we know a lot about you too, Teresa. Okay, so it's kind of a fun thing, jelly beans. It's kind of like the disc profile, guys. That's also a fun thing. But the reality is all of these things, whether you talk about a disc profile, are you a power person, right? Are you a party person? Are you a peace person? Are you the perfectionist? Those are the disc profile, the driver, the high I, the influencer, the social worker, or the C, which is the person who is the engineer and that person who always has to have all the details. These are our personality styles, and we always kind of flow in between them. But that's part of who we are, right? Is your personality. But on the other side is how we communicate with the world. That's a different thing. You could be a party person, but communicate in a different style, how you take the world in. And that's the study of neuro-linguistic programming, which is different. So neuro-linguistic programming is an actual science. Maria, are you throwing jelly beans around? Neuro-linguistic. Hey, Flavia, what color were you?
I'm sorry.
What jelly bean color were you?
I would.
No, we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know what jelly bean you picked.
I'm sorry.
By color. What color draws you to?
I like orange and I like red.
Oh, says a lot.
What was orange?
Orange is flirty and fun and cheerful. Now we know a lot about her, don't we? But cheerful and always fun to be around. Remember, we like that. So the thing is about neuro-linguistic programming, there's three things about your brain, right? The neural, that's the way we understand the world. So the linguistics is the way we're going to communicate with others. And then the programming, that's that constant thing that happens all day long. My friend, I know what jelly bean, but what jelly bean are you? What color?
I was listening. Based on flavor or just?
No, color. There's no white or black there, so imagine there was.
I tend to go towards like orange or green.
Orange or green. All right, now we know about shade too. But you see, neuro-linguistic programming is how our brains are programmed to work. So if you think about it, your brain is a computer, okay? And all day long, we're being programmed, right, Casey? Correct. So let's close our eyes for 2 seconds. Well, I'm not 2 seconds, a couple of seconds, okay? Close your eyes. And I want you to just I'm going to give you like 5 seconds, which is going to feel like an eternity for all of us. But I want you to just think about how many senses you can be aware of, okay? And then afterwards, we're going to shout them out. Ready? Go. No, not now. When I say go. Okay. Okay. Anybody, what you got? What did you hear? The humming of the fan. Okay, what else? I smelled someone's perfume for sure. Oh, it was Casey's wonderful perfume.
No, I think it's probably Teresa's.
But maybe we are smelling a group of things, but you see, this is the point. What else we got? Yeah, the temperature. You feel the temperature on your skin. Did anybody feel how the floor feels hard against your feet? And how about how the seat feels warm against your buttocks? Right? There's so many sensations that your brain is taking in, thousands at every second. Your brain can't take all that in, right? So what we have to do is our brain creates a filter. It's like a funnel, right? And it can only take in a certain amount of data at one time, or you would be in a loony bin. So that filter has been kind of determined through the years, and it has been taken in different types of material and stimuli you have been drawn to notice based on the type of communication that you are drawn to. And that comes to the 3 different types of learners. We have the auditory, the visual, and the kinesthetic. Now, we're going to take a little fun test. You want to pass them out? Sure. I'll pass them out. Very quick little test. Pass it on down. Okay, so it's only 5 questions. And for you guys online, I'm going to stop my share and we're going to go to this. Can you guys all see this share online, the representational system test?
Yes.
Can someone unmute? Tell me you see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Where are you sharing? Share in the chat?
No, I'm putting it on the Zoom if they can see. Can you guys see it? Can someone tell me? Is someone
Yes,
telling me in
Gary,
chat?
we can
Yes.
see that.
Thank you.
Red, yellow, I guess. Can anyone tell me if they can see this?
Hear us, Gary?
Beverly, can you unmute and tell me if you see this?
I did unmute. Can you?
Beverly, I don't hear you. Yeah, go right ahead. I can't hear anybody. Chris, can you see this?
Yep, we're trying to talk to you. Can you hear
Oh.
me?
I can hear you now. That was
Oh,
super.
Yep, we were saying yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes. See, I'm automatically programming you now. I'm programming your mindset to be positive with the yes. See that? You didn't know I was programming you. No, just kidding. Okay, so here it is. I want you to, for each statement, please place a number for next to every phrase of the question and only use one number once. So you have 4 different answers. So 4 is the closest, 3 is the next best, 2 is the next best, and 1 is the least description. So the one you feel closest to. So when I have an important decision, I make it best on. So if a gut feeling intuition is the most, then you're going to put 4, right? The option that sounds best, you put 3. The option that looks best, 2. And the most logical 1, however that goes, right?
Carrie,
Uh-huh.
the screen that we see is the one with the brain. Is that the one we're supposed to be looking at?
No, Thank you for telling me that.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's do another stop share. This is the one you're supposed to say. It's a good thing we asked it. Now, do you see it?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so there's only 5 questions. Let's make sure all 5 are on the board. Well, let's see. We may need to do it like. All right. So all I want you to do is you guys just fill that in, get a little piece of paper and write them down in numbered order. So 4, 2, 3, 1, whatever it is. You're done already, Ariana? I mean, just remember. I like that. They are hard.
They really are. I'm not that in tune with myself.
All right, let me know when you're done. Anybody close to being done? Except for Ariana, who was done first. She's like, this is easy. All right. When you are done, what we are going to do is basically total up our answers. So essentially, the first answer is a K, the second answer is an A, the third answer is a V, and the fourth one is an AD. The second one is an A. So if you want to fill these in, a V, an AD, and a K. Follow what I'm doing? So you're writing next to the test, these answers, what they are. And then you're going to count up like how many KVs you have, how many Ks you have, how many ADs you have, right? But you got to kind of put what they are first. So, you see what I'm saying? So V, K, A, D, and A. 4 is A, then A, D, K, and V, and then 5. It's like a sight test really here, right? A, D, K, and V. So like if number 1, if you put it in order 2, 3, 4, 1, the one that for me is a 4 is a V. So I picked, so I'm looking for which one's got all the 4s. So all my 4s are Vs. So, yep, V, Oh, I have an AD that got a 4. So out of all my ones that I circled, Kara, look. All but one
Okay.
was a V. All but. So I see that I'm highly visible.
Oh, I see.
Except I have one, which is an AD. Right? So this is how you score yourself to give yourself totals. So in the V's, I had, what did I get in the last one? B, I had a 3. So. My V's are 15. Then you're gonna count up like how many V's you got. How many did you get for the V's? How many did you get for the A's? Got 3, 3, 3, 2. You're very blended.
She's very likable. Oh, I see.
Yeah, like I'm like 14 visual, 15 visual, 14 auditory.
Visual 13, 14, 14.
That's weird. Mhm. Okay, everybody almost done?
Just straight. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You're looking at 135. There. For the summer. Oh, I understand that.
I have 15 for all my
But like, if I go here. So 3 of yours, right? Like that. Okay. Why is that name? Oh, okay. Oh, I B, got it. A, D, got it.
That tells you that's the answer key.
Oh,
what
that's
that-
the answer key. I
That's
got it.
this is the answer key for what it relates to.
Got it.
Mhm.
I'm whatever nerdy thing I like to be.
Okay, so what it's showing you, if you're a little slow on the math, it's okay. But the idea here is it's showing you that we are all blended. We're never all one thing, but we definitely use all of our senses when we communicate, but we are definitely dominant in one area. What are you dominant in?
I'm AD and visual.
AD and
Yeah.
visual.
It's gotta make sense.
It's gotta make sense. Interesting. You know, I'm visual and auditory. I'm AD too, but I'm visual and auditory. I think it's because I'm a singer. Interesting. Anybody else finish it? What were you? You were blended. What was most?
A and K, I, T.
Interesting. So you're all about your emotions.
What is
AD means it has to make sense to you. It has to be. Go ahead, Casey, explain it.
I can cut a little bit of a breakdown here. There are people, AD people are people who like to look at facts and figures and charts and graphs. And,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
let me.
And me out.
Wait, don't look yet.
No, I just unmuted. Should I mute?
Yeah, mute. You can hear him.
Okay. Echo.
Yeah. Everyone's still like kind of working on theirs, but so funny. How's everybody online there? You guys kind of figuring it out? I wouldn't know if they are. You can't hear us. I can't. All right. I don't know.
Tell them to post what their number 1 answer was.
Who did?
I said, tell them to post. What their
Yeah,
number 1
post what your number 1 answer is. If you're mostly visual, if you're mostly kinesthetic, A, V, So visual is V, A is auditory, K is kinesthetic, and auditory digital is what AD is.
I'm tied for K and AD, but B was just one lower than that.
It's very blended. Okay. Oh, we got, well, that's you, Casey. Tana, you've got mostly AD. Interesting. One visual. Ooh. Oh, wait, there you go. Oh, A. What is that?
Where's the rest? It's only 4 and 1.
Gosh,
I don't know.
4 and 1.
4 AD, 1 B.
Well, each number you rank them.
Yeah, I agree
So
because
like-
I have 17 visual.
Right, I have 14
I have 15 visual.
13 K.
So 14 AD, you're mostly AD.
Yeah,
I can see that.
by 1.
Can you guess
And my
how
next one,
much I
Victor?
have? 80,
You're probably pretty high AD.
19.
Yeah, you are pretty high AD. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the share for a second here. And this is just a fun test that you can kind of go back to. Oh, wait, hold on, I gotta go to share. Share.
I wish I could see that one.
Which one?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're gonna go back because we have a lot to cover, but again, actually, we're gonna stop. Let me stop share. We're gonna do a little test. A lot of times, guys, when you meet people, they're gonna have a dominant type. And usually we're going to talk about auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. Okay. And the most important thing is when we prepare a listing presentation, for example, if you are talking to a visual, right, and you're just talking at them, you didn't bring any materials, you're not going to get that listing because you lost them. They're not paying attention to you. And if you are just showing visual to an auditory person, again, same thing. They're not listening because they want you to talk to them, right? And the kinesthetic, they need to touch things. They need to feel things. They need all our listing materials because they have to see and touch and feel things. And so you have to bring something for everybody to a listing presentation, just like a buyer, right? So the important thing is, how do we figure this stuff out quickly? And it's about building rapport. So we're going to do some fun exercises, and then we're going to break down how it's going to help you in communication, how it could kill your communication, how you can figure it out quickly, and how you can use it in your negotiation. Because this is the most important parts, right? So let's bring this over. And Casey, can you just throw that over? We're going to can I have a volunteer, please, who didn't say who they are? Let's see. Shandy didn't tell anybody who she is. Come on down, Shandy.
Sure.
Have a seat in the hot seat. No, just kidding. Now, let's all make sure everybody in line can see her too. Okay, I'm just gonna ask you some random questions. Please be comfortable. Doesn't matter. I just want you to just kind of look at. Okay, Shandy, when you were in kindergarten, first day of kindergarten, what'd you wear?
Gosh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
Not a dress.
Not a.
I know that.
Oh, we know that. Okay. When you were in elementary school, what was your favorite food?
Tacos.
Tacos. Everyone likes a good taco. Who was your best friend in middle school?
Candace Valdez.
Ooh, that answer. Who was your first crush?
Daniel Harder.
Daniel Harder.
Okay, mine.
Great, she did the last name.
Yeah.
Impressed. And did you ever play RCK?
What is that?
Run, catch, kiss on the playground?
No.
Yes. You obviously didn't have any fun at all. Okay. What did you want to be when you were in elementary school?
A veterinarian.
Do you have siblings?
I do.
Brother, sister,
I have 2 brothers and a sister.
older, younger?
They're younger.
Who was your sister's best friend growing up?
Okay, so here's the thing. They're half and they're much younger. So I don't know a lot about them.
Who was your sister's first boyfriend?
No idea.
Okay, in high school, who was the boyfriend, the boy you wanted to date but you never got?
I got the boy I wanted to date.
Is there any boy that you wanted to date in any time during your life that you never got to?
No.
What was your worst class at any time during middle, elementary, or high school?
Math.
No, the worst teacher, the worst class, individual class.
I'm not sure about the worst. Math is the subject, but the teacher, I don't know.
What was your favorite after-school activity in elementary school,
Riding horses,
middle school?
riding horses.
Okay, do you think we have enough? Okay, what does she do when she doesn't know the answer?
She looks, it's like she's visual.
But did she go up?
No.
But they go sideways.
Actually looked, I see her looking down, Casey, don't you see her looking down? Thank you, Miss Shandy. We're gonna see.
I also saw Robbie.
I stole your chair.
Is that like
Rubbing? Yes,
Thank you. You did see rubbing, yeah.
very good. So,
Visual and kinetic.
yeah, so I'm gonna ask you another question. So if I asked you about a situation, I'm gonna guess, when you think about it, you think about how you felt about it.
Yes.
Because you are kinesthetic. And when you speak very purposeful. You certainly don't speak at the speed I speak. Which I know must be very frustrating for you. Right? You are kinesthetic.
AD was my highest.
Yeah, AD has to do with how you want to look at the world and you want to make sure it makes sense. But kinesthetic is somebody that looks down. They have to see how they felt about the situation. They often touch. They want to see their feelings, so they have to get in touch with how they felt about it. You want to try one more person? Who else do we not know?
Was there a clue like with the hand on the chin and like the licking of the?
Looking of the eyes.
Oh, it's just the eyes? Okay.
Great, come on down. You're the next one. Sit on. What could she possibly be? That's really long question. Because of how much for you, we should go up in England, right?
Yeah.
All right, and I don't know anything about England, so this is gonna be fun. All right.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Will you scoot back some?
Okay, Miss Great.
Mhm.
The first day of, I don't know if it's kindergarten.
What did I?
Oh.
Where?
I wore a blazer, a skirt and a hat.
Blazer
No.
skirt.
they-
Did you like tea and crumpets?
No.
Okay. What was the craziest thing you did in high school?
When I was 14, I probably went to the park and got drunk as anything. I was at boarding school, so that's,
I just had to know, because she's fun. Yeah.
I think I drank about half a bottle of vodka.
Oh my God. And, who was the first boy you had a crush on?
Andrew Worthington.
So I think we all see, when we ask her a question, what does Pippa do?
Look up.
She looks up to the right. And Pippa, when you dream, is it like movies?
Yes,
She sees pictures.
yes,
And Pippa talks fast for a break.
yes.
And because she's visual. You miss Pippa.
Thank you. Now you know my.
Now we know. Because a visual person has to look to see their memory.
That's weird.
Yeah, a visual person has to see how they see where the memory is.
That does make sense, but
I know. I love that about you. Okay, I lost.
Don't carry your number.
Oh my
That's
God.
very strong.
What?
For the A, I have 25.
Your auditory?
I'm sorry. Wow. It's weird.
Well, let's just see it.
No,
Let's- Well, I will tell you.
Gary, I didn't do it.
Well, an auditory person, do we want to see? Do we want to see? Come on, Kara, come on, Kara. Come on, let's see if it's true. The question, the thing is, guys, it has to be a question you don't know the answer to. Because if you know the answer, you don't have to look for it, right? All right, let's see if it's true.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's hear. All right. Now it's like a new question, right? Oh, no. All right. Denver, Colorado?
Yeah, good.
Okay, Karen, what was the craziest mountain you ever climbed in Denver, Colorado?
I mean, I've hiked, but I don't know about climbing. Maybe in Vail. Hiked up a mountain. I don't know the name of
Okay. What's a crazy night, a weekend that people do in Colorado, like kids in Colorado, what do they do?
it. Probably go to a field, do a little bit of what Pippa did.
Okay, so tell me the name of the first boy you went to a field with.
Matt King.
She knew that answer, she didn't even have to think about it, see, this is the problem, okay. I'm not gonna ask what happened in that field, okay, what did you want to be in kindergarten?
Ooh. No, maybe interior decorator. Something with like furniture or colors or
Did you and your sister ever pretend you were twins?
we didn't have to pretend.
Well, I mean, like identical, like,
Oh, no.
No.
No, because we looked different. She was a brunette.
my sister and I pretended we were twins, she's like taller than me and had dark hair, so. Let's see, who is your favorite teacher in elementary school?
Mrs. Carlson.
See, she knows that. What teacher did you hate in high school? See, there it is. She doesn't look down. She looks to the side. See how you look down. You look to the side. You are auditory. Auditory people go side to side. You have to hear it. You have to hear all the sounds in your head. You explore everything through sound. When you remember things, you remember the sounds, you remember how everybody talked, you remember everything as if it was a song in your mind.
Yes. I am auditory.
I'm telling everybody about this. It's fun, isn't it? So AD is more about how you have to take in, it's like, if I'm gonna get through to you, you have to understand everything by logic. So it's more, not so much how you take in the information, right? You wouldn't say it's how you take in the information, but it's more about how you will understand the information.
Process it.
Yeah, it's a processing of the information. So they actually added that. It's been added on more since I actually even got into the audit, the study of it. When I started doing the study of it in the 80s, well, I lied. I started doing it in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's when I started getting into NLP. They didn't even really talk about it very much. It's gotten much more popular and talked about, I think, now more than ever, especially because everything is on the internet, everything's so digital. But the truth is, it's really that you have to be persuaded by logic that it's true.
I wonder if I will say that I saw her paper, so I kind of knew she was doing that. But it almost made sense with when you ask questions, she kind of qualified them with you and dug a step deeper a little bit with when she answered.
Right. So
kind of
it's like a level added on to how she takes in the information. Would you put it that way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's still somewhat auditory.
Well.
Yeah. So here's some things I want you guys to see. These are some general characteristics, right, of the different types. Your visuals are neat and orderly, which you're like, Carrie, how the heck's that you? Because have you seen my office? Oh, you guys can't see. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me go back over to here. Again, because a lot of my stuff is from my neuro linguistic programming stuff that I did a long time ago. And a lot of that I don't have,
On this.
but she has it in what she brought.
Here's auditory, here's kinesthetic, and here's auditory visual.
Yeah, but this gives you a little bit more good spellers, observant, memorizes pictorially. So for me, when you talk to me and you call me and ask me about a contract, I'm like, it's the second page, it's the third line down, right? Have you heard me say that? Because that's how I remember it exactly as I look at it. And sometimes they'll say, read it to me, because I'm picturing what it looks like in my head. So I have a partial photographic memory because it's all by pictures. Fairly quiet, totally not true. Deliberate, prefers, but see, here you go. This is how you take in information, but then what do you have that's layered on top? Your personality. I'm a D high I, high D high I, right? So you can be a social, like, you know, that person who's saving the world, visual, or you could be high I, high D, visual, right? So this is where you have to understand the personality types and also the communication styles. Remember verbal instruction, difficulty. Yeah, don't tell me the verbal instructions. I probably didn't pay attention. That's probably what happened. And less distracted by noise. I'm not. You could have the noise playing. I'm probably not going to pay attention. Auditory people, Carrie, I know you love music. You find languages, spoken languages easy. See, I'm also secondary auditory though. And I think probably a lot of that is because I'm an opera singer. So I do find like languages come very easy to me, right? You guys know that about me. I talk to myself. Yeah. You can repeat things back. You're easily distracted. You find math and writing more difficult than talking. Not true. Learns by listening, can mimic tone and pitch, memorizes steps and sequence and procedure. So that's more of an auditory person. A kinesthetic, you're physically oriented. You move around a lot. You touch people, you stand close to people, you respond to that physical reward. You have the larger physical reactions. You use your large muscle development first. So, you know, they say babies who don't crawl, they skip the crawling and go right to walking. You miss so much when they do that. So they have to go back and recreate those synapses. And especially if you're kinesthetic, because imagine that's a huge part of the way that they communicate with the world. So it's really important. They point when they read, they gesture a lot, they respond physically, they memorize to walking and landmarks. You can hear how they talk. It's very funny. And they learn a lot by doing. Now, here's some other characteristics. So visuals, they look slightly up or ahead. They are shallow. I obviously do not breathe shallow, but a lot of them do. They tense their shoulders and they tend to hunch. And they often have rapid speech and high pitched, and their head may be up because they're constantly moving. Auditory look down, and they tend to go a little bit left and right because they're into their head. They're like thinking about what they heard. They are evenly mid-chested when they breathe. Their tension is evenly distributed over their shoulders and their back, and they're good, clear enunciators. The kinesthetic, they look down. You saw how Shandy actually looks down. They use their diaphragm fully. I don't know if that's really true. Relaxed posture overall. They speak slower. They do speak slow.
And breathy.
My husband is kinesthetic. I don't know how that happened.
Because opposites attract.
I didn't even realize it till after a party, and I was like, oh my God, I married a kinesthetic man. But it makes so much sense. He likes to talk and slow, and he's always
touch you,
touching. And it's like, why are you doing that?
How things make them feel.
I know. And I'm like, I don't care. Can we get to the point? It's bad.
Family in the house, sitting around.
Yes,
the tree.
right? What is
Get
that?
to the point.
Get to the point. Bullet point. Time is money. Right. Problem. Okay. These are certain things that what you can see are words that we as visuals. So here's the point. When you are speaking to somebody who's a visual, These are trigger words that we like. Let's talk about triggers for a second, shall we?
Sure.
Let's see what certain triggers, when you're in a situation and you hear like a school bell, do you not all sit up? That is a trigger that we have all been brainwashed with, right? So there are certain things in life that could be a good trigger. There's olfactory triggers. You know why we put cookies on in the builder? Because a smell
Smells
of a
like home.
cookie makes you think of home. Exactly. So these are triggers that could be good or bad. What other triggers can you think of? Anything else that you, there's so many of them.
I don't know, my mind is blank.
There, if they use your full name, if someone calls me Carolyn Ann Pollock, I am in trouble. Nobody calls me that. So there are certain things throughout your life that will be a trigger for you. But there's other things that, you know how people just speak your, we call it love language, but your language that you're used to. So if some people use these words, you know, I need some more clarity. I'm trying to get a snapshot of what you're thinking. I understand they understand me. Right? These are my words because I'm a visual thinker. So I want to get a clear, concise picture of what you're saying. Oh, okay. I get it. I know what you need from me. So if I know that somebody is visual, I'm going to send them an email. I need to contact them. I'm going to use these words, which I'll be happy to give everybody these words. If somebody is auditory, I need to use these words. Like if I'm going to talk to Carrie, I need to say, Carrie, what resonates with you? So when you like that word? Does that word make you feel smart? Nice, right? So I know that you want to be heard, right? We want to make sure that this announcement is something that harmonizes and makes you, resonates with you. You want to say the words that makes them feel good, right? So these are all words. A kinesthetic, how do these words make you feel, Shandy? We want to make sure that we tap into something that touches and sits right with you.
I like that.
Right? Now these words wouldn't work for me. So, you know, I mean, I wouldn't feel up not right with them, but the other words may just, so the thing is, guys, you meet somebody and like Casey and I was like, oh my God, she's just like me. She is. She's a visual, just like me. You meet people who are just like you. They communicate in the same style. They're probably the D or the I that you are too, and you just hit it off. You already are communicating on the same plane. You have to be able to notice these things so that you can utilize them. Here's some great representational phrases that you can use. Give them paint a picture for, you know, a bird's eye view. If you're talking to a seller, you know, I want to paint a picture to give you a bird's eye view of what our marketing program looks like. Right? That's a nice way to put it. These are some really good ways that you can speak. If you want to say it to an auditory person, you know, I hate to tell you a truth, but maybe they like those things. You know, I want this to be loud and clear, exactly what you wanted to know. They like that kind of stuff, right? And kinesthetic, you know, this boils down to, let's make sure that, you know, with this is, let's get a handle on everything that's happening. I wouldn't use those words, but maybe a kinesthetic would. That's the point. We want to use these sentences, these phrases, because if you think about it, everybody has these systematic phrases that are in their natural speech. That's why when I teach working with buyers, I tell you to write down the phrases that they actually use. If you did that, I guarantee you'll find out what their system of communication is. Because it's all in there. They're going to use those clues.
Do people do that in their emails too?
Oh,
The
absolutely.
way they write, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So again, one great way is if you ask a question they have to think about based upon where they're looking, you know, if they're visual, if they're auditory, or they're kinesthetic. So when you go to sit at that kitchen table, that's a great thing to do, right? Let's figure out if they're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. The other thing is if it's constructed or if it's remembered. Does everybody know what the difference is? Yeah.
Probably buying, yeah.
Well, or created. So it could be something that you're coming up with a creative idea that's constructed, or it could be fabricated. So if you're on a listing presentation, this is important to see which side they're looking at, because you know if they're telling you the truth or not. Very important to see which side they're looking towards, right? So if they're looking towards the right, it's remembered. If they're looking towards the left, it's constructed.
Unless they're left-handed.
Um,
It says right there, for normally organized right-handed.
it's a tough thing because this is where it gets complicated. Because people might be naturally left-handed, but in this world of right-handedness, they've been taught to use the right hand and they're left-handed. So again, I would say we always have to be careful with this too.
Just wanna make sure you don't.
Because no, but in your point, yeah, but maybe somebody is naturally left-handed, but they use their right hand and they start to look to the left all the time. And you're thinking, man, that person's such a liar. I wouldn't necessarily use this as like your definite go-between. Yes.
What about someone who's kind of ambidextrous? Like I write left-handed, but I do everything else right.
But your brain is still constructed.
Your brain is constructed that way. Yeah.
It still would be this, and maybe an easier way to break this down, because this looks really confusing with 6 different things. You either are remembering or constructing. And then if you're remembering visual, you're painting a picture. If you're remembering auditory, you're remembering sound. And if you're looking down, it's typically feeling. You remember how it touched, it felt, those types of things. Versus constructed, made a lie, creatively made something, would be up constructing it from the sound or constructing the feeling.
Neurolinguistic programming is a huge science. I mean, my practitioner class, which I took forever ago, was, I mean, months long. It was really long. Your class, how long is it?
Oh, I don't know, hundreds of hours.
Yeah,
Like,
it's super long. I did it
It's
for
like a
months.
lifetime learning.
Yeah, it is. It's so long. So we're trying to cover some snippets now to help you, but one of the,
When you're looking at the person,
Mhm.
right, your left is constructed. So when you're facing someone, right, like let's say your
Yeah.
customer's in front of you, they look to the right. Constructed. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm trying to.
it's their left, our right. Yeah. But to your point, if they're a left-handed person,
It might.
it might be swapped. But do we know?
Yeah.
That's why I would say I wouldn't put a ton of credence into it, but if you're wondering
You
and
can
they,
look it up and read more about it if it interests you.
Yeah.
Just a little snapshot of how people read minds. They're not reading minds. People give more information than they realize with body language, words they use. And that's how a practitioner can read their mind.
more importantly, we want you to be able to use all these things, these great words to build rapport. You know, you have 7 seconds to create an impression with somebody. It's so little. You actually create a first impression in 7 seconds. So if you could use physiology as an underlying thing that people don't even know you're doing to create this incredible rapport that people are like, man, I just love them, right? Why wouldn't you? And it's nothing fake. It's just about trying to connect on their level. That's all it is. So one of the great ways to do this is matching and mirroring. We've all heard about it. Ninja talks about it. A lot of classes talk about it. But matching and mirroring all comes from neurolinguistic programming. Again, they say that, visual people tend to be breathers, higher breathers. Visual people tend to kind of hunch over. Visual people tend to have higher pitches. Like they have a lot of, again, superstitions. Like they suppose that these things are true, but they may not be true for everybody, right? The point is, everybody that you meet has a way that they communicate. And if we can see that and kind of get in a wavelength with them, they will feel comfortable. That's the point. Like if someone's speaking very slow and purposeful with me, and I'm like, they're going to be very like taken aback, right? So I have to match their energy. And so we're going to do a little example of matching and mirroring. And then I want you guys to do it because that is the best way to gain rapport with people. As a matter of fact, on a listing appointment, that's the whole reason you go right to the table first and you just start talking and finding their motivation and you match and mirror them. And until they follow you, you don't start your listing presentation because they're not listening until you do. They're going to be open to receive once they are following you. But until they follow you, they're not opening to receive you. They're doing their own thing, right? So there's some very clear ways of matching and mirroring. Please do not try to match and mirror their accent. That seems so I've seen people do that. It's really bad. But the first one that's super easy is their breathing. You ever notice some people tend to breathe like really slow? Some people tend to breathe a little higher. You can match their breathing. The tonality of their voice, if they tend to use a lower tone, if they tend to use a higher tone, that's an easy one within your range, right? Do not start speaking in falsetto if you're a guy. That'll be very weird. But within slow, little minor adjustments, right? Those are very simple. The other thing that's very simple is pacing. If they tend to talk a little bit like faster or blah, blah, you can follow that. If they tend to talk a little slower, which for me is painful, but I can do that, right? That is pacing, watching their pace of speech. Those things can all be done without anybody noticing, right? And also the tonality is the volume at which they're speaking. If they speak a little softer, if they speak a little louder, don't be getting in a yelling match, but you follow me. Also, if you want to, you can do it a little bit with dynamics. I caution you, Shane, you'd be great at it. If you've had any musical background, you'll be very good at dynamics. Casey, I'm sure you're great at that. If you're not, it could be a little bit harder for you, but people tend to speak dynamically. I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes they'll get a little bit louder and they speak in phrases, right? Just like we sing. Sometimes there's a higher part of the phrase and it goes lower. If you can match the phrasality of how they speak, that also really hits it very well. But if you don't pick up on that, don't do it because you'll be totally lost. But you follow what I'm saying? When you sing, it's like this, the way that you sing that, you'll crescendo here, then you decrescendo. They speak like that too. You just don't realize it. It just is a natural thing of what happens. So if you can notice when are they getting louder in the middle and they back off at the ends of the phrases, if you can do the same type of thing, that is a very simple way to match a mirror without making it so incredibly obvious that you're matching and mirroring. These things need to be practiced. Okay, so if I'm at a listening appointment with Casey and I don't have a pocket, so I'm going to have to just put my hand here, but I'm going to match and mirror. The easy one is to do what she's doing, how she sits, right? Now, if she's sitting in some really weird, bizarre way, like she's a man and she's doing something like that, I'm not going to be doing that. That would be very bizarre, right? So you have to know. But definitely try to match and mirror. The other weird thing is, okay, you have a husband and wife, let's say. Who do you follow?
The one you're trying to get.
The one, exactly, the decision maker. But be careful, who the decision maker is, because sometimes, well, sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we think it's one and it's truly the other. So I would say whoever you feel you need to gain more rapport with at the kitchen table is who you match a mirror with. And then maybe when you're later on trying to get a price or something like that, if you feel you need to get somebody in flow again, I would match a mirror the other one at that time. You can always re-pull out matching and mirroring, right? It's not something like, oh, I already used that. Okay, Jack did that. No, you can always do it again if you're good at it. If you're not good at it and they notice what you're doing, please don't ever do it again. So you will lose that listing.
The ones to match their mirroring. Right?
So let's say I'm matching and mirroring Casey, right? And then I think it's going really well. We're talking about whatever, and then she's like, so I'm going to casually do what she's ever doing. I'm changing it as she changes it. Now I want to see if she's following me, right? So purposefully, I'm going to make a change. Maybe I'm going to lean in. Now, if she does not lean in, she's not following me. So I need to gently go back into how she is and continue matching her and getting back in a wavelength with her. And then at a later time, try it again. If I move forward again and she follows me, now I know I'm now the leader. She's following me. And now we can go into the listening presentation. But if she doesn't do that, we're not at that time yet. So it's a really great skill. I highly recommend you try it at home when people don't know you're trying it on them. Like my husband who says, stop using that voodoo on me. Poor guy, but it does work. Casey, share your story about how you used it. Your NLP.
Oh, well, that was another one about chunk up, chunk down.
Yeah, do it. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so there's a, I don't know, do you want to share this with the people?
Yeah,
I wrote this.
you have it. You have it on yours. Can you share?
What do I share it on? Do I put it on?
Oh, did you have it in there?
I don't know where to put it. How do I do it?
Do you have it in a Word document?
Mhm.
Just share that.
And I share that through via.
Just did the green button. Right here, there. And then wherever you had it open. Did you have it open? No, over here. You had it open. Okay,
Open there, so would it be?
yeah, just the desktop. Oh, it's not gonna let you. But use your finger. Is that this? Oh, no.
It said, I can't.
Okay,
show you.
so just share everybody in the talk. That's
Okay.
okay.
So, I have it here written if you wanted to see it. About chunk up, chunk down, it's number 4. Agreement ends all conflict, which is super powerful. So if you're arguing with somebody or you're not on the same terms, if you chunk up, that means you're going to more general phrases. And once you get general enough, everybody can agree. And with agreement, we're no longer having a conflict. And then, and one of the NLP practices, then you switch them over and bring them back down to your where you're trying to get them to go, kind of get them out of their own way. The way that I use this is my daughter's special needs, and we lived in California, and I fought a lot to get her care. They weren't giving her the proper care in the school district, so I filed arbitration against them. So when I walked in, I felt that I was kind of the underdog because they have PhDs in education. I'm a trumpet player that has a broker's real estate license. I didn't really think it was a fair fight, but because of my NLP skills, I actually could speak and communicate to them in a way that I backed them in a corner and they couldn't say no. So I took the power seat, which is if we're sitting at a boardroom table, if you sit across from people, it's very adversarial. It's already a conflict just from where you chose to sit. If you sit at the head of the table, and I told everyone where they were going to sit, it tells that you're in charge of the meeting. And it's now, it lands different because when you're side to side, it's much different than face to face. It just feels nicer.
You're on their team.
Yeah. So I was there to be their friend and then get what I needed for my daughter. So what I did is I did what you need to get them to agree. And you keep chunking up until you can get that agreement. And then you stay on that playing field and you need to get at least 3 yeses. So I told him, you know, we're so glad that this is the mission statement of Riverside Unified School District, that all children get an education, all children go to college, etc. I said, we all agree Abigail's disabled, and they're shaking their head. Oh yeah, Abigail's disabled. And we all agree that she needs therapies. And so, oh yeah, she needs speech. And we all agree that, you know, she needs to attend school. And I said, so if we all agree upon that, and you have decided not to give her therapies, then look at my exhibit A, you know, we've agreed upon this many service minutes times, you know, this many dollars is what it costs to do outside. So you owe me a check of $43,000. You can make it payable to Casey Borders. Thank you. And then they went, wait a minute. They almost wanted to say yes, because I had them say, yeah. Well, wait a minute, what? So then I backed them in a corner, and in closing, I used the mission statement and said, you know, I didn't see an asterisk that said all students but Abigail. So with that assumption, you know, please make the check payable to Casey Borders. And they went, please hold. I got up and left the room, and my mom was with me because I was really scared. So I brought my mom and my husband because I didn't know what I was doing. On the outer side, I looked confident. Inside, I was shaking my boots. And they came back and they said, okay, well, we decided to give you, you know, $9,000, please sign here. Which is unheard of. She was 3 years old, and you don't win those type cases. So because of those skill sets, because I sat at the head of the table, I assigned everyone their spot. I brought them all up to an agreement. Yes. Then I was able to get what I wanted. So, because they couldn't say no, because agreement ends all conflict. So,
The other thing to think about, excellent job, is connecting words and breaking the words that break a connection, like but.
Oh, yeah. So this is one of the greatest things ever. This is number 3 I have on my list here. So avoid saying the word but. But is a definite deal killer because you state something usually positive, then you say the word but. After that, even if you think it's a positive statement, it's construed as negative, and all they remember is that second half. So I gave like a couple examples. So instead of saying but, we would either use the word and connect the two thoughts, or put a period and have 2 separate sentences. So an incorrect way. Mr. Seller, congrats on the appraisal, came in at value, but they called out 2 repairs. And I thought they would think that was great news. It came in at value. It's an accelerated market. All the seller heard is, I have to do repairs. And it came across really negative. So a better way to say it would be, Mr. Seller, congratulations, the appraisal came in at value, period. Appraiser did call out 2 repairs. It just lands so much differently. We're like, okay, I was able to absorb both items of information without jumping down the negative rabbit hole.
Mhm.
Another one would be an incorrect way. Honey, you look great, but do you have some other pants you could put on?
Yeah.
And the husband just said you looked good. So maybe a better way to say that is, honey, you look great today, period. Maybe you could wear the blue pants instead of those. And you're like, meh, maybe you're right. It's just a nicer way to say it. And one that you can never come back from is, I love you, but
Yeah.
yeah, you just sunk your ship.
Yeah.
Stop talking. So those are some really important things. If you can remember that one in your mind, remove but from your vocabulary in its entirety. It will not serve you well.
Exactly. Thank you. That's a great point. Yeah. So in general, because there's so much, and I know we're over time, right? Yep. There's so much in NLP, guys. Like we said, we've had hundreds of hours of education in NLP. To do it in 1 hour, it's
Yeah.
impossible.
I'd love to learn more.
It's very
Other
interesting.
classes.
We could do more, but
Yeah.
I don't know that I've never seen NLP here. Have you?
No,
Yeah, I've never seen. I mean, honestly, even in Ninja,
you gotta fly places.
yeah, in Ninja, they include so much less than we've even included, to be honest.
Just patches of it.
But there's so many great things like triggers and anchors. Anchoring is amazing. There's so many things that we could do. I wouldn't mind if Casey's up for it. We could do some more classes on NLP and dive in a little bit more if you guys are interested. But what I really think the most important thing is start playing around, ask some people that you know and love some questions they have to think about. It can't be something they know the answer to, and see where they look. If they look up, they're visual. If they look to the side, they're auditory. If they're looking down and touching somehow their arms, their hands, you called it right out, Care, they're kinesthetic. And you'll also then pick up on the fact of how their speech patterns are. Remember, the kinesthetic people do talk slow. God love them. Purposeful. They really have to think about how they thought, how they felt, what were their feelings. The auditory people are listening, how it all sounded, what the whole scenario sounded like in their head. And those visual people, we're seeing the picture. It's like a movie. We're watching it and we're recounting it as if we're telling you what happened in that movie. We're seeing the whole thing. And we talk fast and we move fast. So those people are all the people we're going to come across with every day in our lives. So we need to be prepared when we go on a listing presentation, when we go meet buyers. They're in our cars. Well, God help you, don't put them in your cars. But we're showing them homes and we're meeting them in their homes. And so we need to always have materials for all of them, for the visual, great, beautiful things to show them the visual, terrific things that we can do, right? That's why those little flip books are great. We want to show them some beautiful things where their homes are going to travel, right? We need to show them the beautiful books for the kinesthetic people. And we have wonderful things to say for our auditory people. Plus, they love the movies because they always have the great music too, right? So that's also a good thing. But you have to think about those things. And also be very wary of the words you use, because it's very easy to blow something up by using the word but, when you
Correct.
could have used an and,
Well,
or
can I-
just
Can I
something.
interject?
Yeah.
Opposites do attract. So
Yeah.
the hardest thing to sell to is a couple, because one is gonna be one way and the other is gonna be completely opposite. So if you can adjust your speech to land with both of them, to get them both on your page, that's super important. Because you don't just want one to love you and the other's like, well, I don't know if I really liked her, like,
Yeah.
she was okay. You want them both to think that you're just absolutely amazing.
Which is why you need phrases for both, all kinds. So if you were to say to that kinesthetic, how does that make you feel? And you said to the visual, what does that look like to you? Right? Now you've, talked to
Engage
them
them both.
both and the way that they both
And I
communicate.
think, and so there's 4 different ones. So 25% of the time, you're gonna nail it and they're gonna love you. The problem is 75% of the time, they're not gonna like you so much. So the point of this and introducing this to you is just to be aware that there's other types of people out there other than yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can learn to blend with them, you're gonna become more likable and more trustworthy. And that's the entire point of this and knowing about this.
And also, again, the quickest way to pick up what somebody is to write down the words they use. Pay attention. They will tell you what they are. If you listen to what they say, and if you watch how they communicate, you can pick up very quickly who they are, for sure.
Yeah, especially like in that buyer presentation, when you say, tell me why you want to buy, and all those questions.
Yeah, if they have to
Super
stop and
fancy.
think, you'll see where they're looking. And also then we're going to start interjecting and mixing and melding, the disc profile with that. Because again, that's part of who they are. But how they communicate is really important, because you could know, okay, it's a driver, so I can't have tons and tons of information. But if that driver is a visual person and you just are talking at them, you've lost them, right?
Mhm.
So even if you were ready to give them things, you just lost them anyway. So you have to know all parts of this. That's what's important. So, well, thank you so much, guys, for coming. I hope you got some things. Does anybody have any quick questions before we call it?
I have a quick brilliant example.
Yeah.
Back to that whole like chunk up to agreement. Obama, when he ran for president, his slogan was change. Absolutely brilliant. Like him, love him, hate him, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when you say change, some people thought, oh, we're going to change in this realm. Others thought we're going to change in this. Either way, whatever your idea of change was, you landed with him. And that was such a powerful message. So when you look at these like broad, specific statements in advertising, that's how people are drawn in, by using these 4 profiles and all these words. So maybe you could start noticing how, Coca-Cola, it tastes the feeling. Oh,
Exactly.
like you
Taste
think, yeah,
a feeling.
yeah, Nike, just do it.
Mhm.
So all these type phrases. So they're general for a reason, because that's where agreement lies.
Well, thank you so much, Casey. It's fun doing it with you. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Everybody online too. Thanks for coming. And remember, this week we're doing social media tomorrow in Lake Nona. But we do not have training on Thursday because it's our Ocala grand opening. Woo-hoo, finally. So awesome. So excited about that. So have a great rest of your week, guys. Bye.